Giving all praises and glory to our power Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and wherever you may be, to you I say Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. Well, that's just Deuteronomy chapter 2. I think we went to the first chapter. I probably, it's posted up. I think I got to put it into a playlist. So I'll probably do that in a little bit. But moving on to chapter 2, right? So which you have on this one side, NLT says remembering Israel's wanderings. KJV says wanderings in the wilderness, right? Pretty much the same title there. So it says, then we turned and took our journey in the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea, as Yahweh spake unto me, and we compassed Mount Seir many days. All right. So, as a matter of fact, let me do this, so we can get which I understand what it means. I just want to pull it up on the screen, right? So yeah, it says we come. Look, I got the wrong word. Spake. Hold on. Here we go. All right, it's the word of sabab in the Hebrew. Right, to turn about, or around, or aside, or back, or towards, go about, or around, surround, encircle, change direction. All right, here's another one. It says to march or walk around, go partly around, circle about, skirt, make around. Yeah, skirt is like you have like the edge, the same thing as these other words, just said in a different way, different word. Make around, like the bottom of the skirt. That's the hem, the skirt. You get the point. Make a circuit. All right. Go same thing. Everything is the same way, just same thing, just said in a different way. Go about, to surround, encompass. All right. So yeah. So it says they compassed Mount Seir. All right. As a matter of fact, I may actually, let me just use this. I'll come back to this if I'm with like the NLT or something like that. But I'll use this blue here as we read. Maybe get into some couple other things there. It says, and Yahweh spake unto me, saying, ye have compassed this mountain long enough. Turn you northward. Let's see if we can get not sure if we better get Seir up here, Mount Seir. Shayar. I'm sorry, Shayar. All right, here goes Shaggy. Patriarch of the Horites, the inhabitants of Edom before the descendants of Esau. Yeah, they took that land for those Horites, all right? The land of Edom, south of the Dead Sea. All right, here it is. A mountain range in Edom extending from the Dead Sea to the Hellenic Gulf, apparently also called Mount Seir, and extending most of the distance of the mountain range itself. A mountain in northern Judah lying westward from Kirjath Jearim. If I'm correct, I believe that mountain range goes northwestward. Let's see. Let me grab these real quick. Let me grab these Horites real quick. See if there's anything else I can get on these. So it just says the basic information: inhabiting areas of Mount Seir in Canaan. Obviously before the Edomites. A couple scriptures: Genesis 14:6, Genesis 36:20, and Deuteronomy 2:12. I almost want to know what they say, but it's okay. I just want the little basic something here. Hor or Horite was sometimes been explained to mean cave dweller. It more probably, however, denotes the white race. Yeah, so there's not much there. Just talking about those that lived there before Esau, Edom. Now, a mountain in northern Judah lying westward. Yeah, because I believe in that how that mountain range lies, Mount Seir, in an entirely different place from foregoing one of the landmarks on the north boundary of the territory of Judah. Only it lay westward of Kirjath Jearim, and between it and Beth Shemesh. Let's see if we can pull up some images here. I want the mountain. Can we get? Well, I see two here. I'm not sure if it's. Actually, I can't even see that one. It's cut off. Uh, it says Mount Hor. As a matter of fact, we probably just put stuff about Mount Seir itself. Where is it at? Here it is. Maybe it'll give us something here. I just want to try to pull it up. If I can get this, there we go. Mount Seir. And the Temanites. Just looking for the mountain range. It's not giving us the clear mountain range by itself. All right. Look, there's a Petro right there. Excuse me. So it's all good. It's not really giving us any clear, you know, idea of the mountain range there, but I mean we pretty much know where it is. And if you don't, just look into it more. Um, but we'll just continue on. So it says you have compassed this mountain long enough, turn you northward, and command thou the people, saying, ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir. All right, now when it says brethren, it doesn't mean like they're, they're part of us, like, they can be Israelites too. No, it just goes back to our forefathers, or forefather in particular, right? Jacob, all right, who birthed Esau and Jacob. Okay, I'm sorry, Esau. I mean, not Jacob. Um, Isaac, who birthed Esau and Jacob. Jacob birthed himself, yeah. Isaac, who birthed Esau and Jacob, all right. But the scriptures tell us that there will be two nations, two manner of people separated from the bowels, all right. So when it says brethren, all right, they are some of the closest, of a nation to us, but they're still not us, all right. They're not Israelites for sure. And command the people, thou the people, saying, ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir. And Esau, and they shall be afraid of you. Well, I mean, it is talking about Esau, but it doesn't say that. And they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourselves, therefore. Meddle not with them, for I will not give you of their land, not so, not so much as a foot breadth, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau for a possession. All right, so he's saying that. All right, don't bother them, battle wise. All right, don't bother none of that stuff. All right, all this land I gave to them, okay, for a possession. Okay, which we just read up above. They took from those Horites. All right, they lived there first, then Esau. All right, but he gave it to Esau for a possession. Okay, says ye shall buy meat of them for money, that ye may eat, and ye shall also buy water of them for money, that ye may drink. All right, so I don't want you to get anything free. All right, whatever you need to use for food and water, pay for it. All right, and that'll be it. For Yahweh thy power hath blessed thee in all the works of thy hand. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness. These 40 years, Yahweh thy power hath been with thee. Thou hast lacked nothing. See? And yeah, that's exactly what we talked about. I believe we talked about the last time. All right, all the different things that he did. All right, they complained, and the Lord came through. They were hungry. The Lord gave them quails, gave them manna. All right, thirsty, he gave them sweet waters. All right, and so on and so forth. All right, protection. The clothes didn't fall off of their backs and right away. All right, the sandals or whatever they were wearing didn't break off of their feet. And so on and so forth. Okay, it says, for the years Yahweh thy power hath been with thee, thou hast lacked nothing. And when we pass by from our brethren, the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, through the way of the plain from Elath, and from Ezion Gaber, we turned and passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab. All right. So, let's pull up, man. Well, let's see if I can get it through here. That I want to pull up all the different names, just trying to give you the idea of like where they are in their traveling. All right, as they're going. Let's see if we can get this here. Okay, so I may use this one to the right. Oh, actually, you know what? This may work. Um, even better because this one still has color to it. So yeah, I wish there was more to the map down below. Okay. As a matter of fact, well, this might work. I was gonna use this one here. Uh, right. Well, you're right there, pretty much center screen on the left with the green. Okay, to show Edom, but Edom's still partly here. So we came from out of the wilderness, wandering around. Okay, you had to go around Esau's land, around the mountain. That's why I was trying to find that mountain chain. All right, just trying to kind of show you exactly, those travels as directly as possible. But you probably had just looked at them, look up that mountain chain for yourself. But yeah, so after Edom's land, all right, it says turn and go northward. But he told us not to go, all right, through Moab's land, all right, because eventually, as we move, which is under Joshua, okay, we went east, then we went north, and then we came back west, okay, and we actually went over the Jordan, all right. So we talked about that in a previous chapter, not the first chapter, but in the book of Joshua, okay. So here's another one. All right, Esau. I don't know why they have these names here. Somebody wrote this themselves. Probably uploaded it. But anyways, you kind of see what we're looking at, all right? Just the general location here, what we're looking at, okay? So yeah. So as we go back, it says, so they passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab, all right? It says, and Yahweh said unto me, distress not the Moabites, neither contend with them in battle, all right? Just like he said with Esau, it says, distress not the Moabites, neither contend with them in battle. For I will not give thee I will not give thee of their land for a possession, because I have given Ar unto the children of Lot for a possession. Okay, so yeah, like that map we just saw. I don't know why somebody had that written up there, but it was written up there. But yeah, it says I because when you go back to after Sodom and Gomorrah, that situation there, okay, you had Lot with his two daughters, and they pretty much thought that they were only ones left. That once their father died, they would die too. All right, with no children because there were no men around. So what they did is they got their father drunk one by one. The eldest daughter went in the first night. Right, they got him drunk. She went in the first night. Had a baby by him. Okay, and then was born. I want to say Moab. All right, Moabites. All right, from the eldest daughter. And then the second night they did the same thing. They got their father drunk again. The youngest daughter went in. All right, had sex with her father. Got pregnant by him, and then birthed those people today, who are the Japanese people, which are the Ammonites. All right, and the Moabite people being the Chinese people today. Okay. So yeah, it says, and Yahweh said unto me, distress not the Moabites, neither contend with them in battle, for I will not give thee of their land for a possession, because I have given Ar unto the children of Lot for a possession. All right. So there you go. It says the Emims dwelt therein in times past, a people great and many and tall as the Anakims. All right. And then we talked about the Anakims in the book of Joshua. Super tall, basically Hamitic nation of people. Emims, terrors. All right. Ayamah, sorry, Ayamyam. Okay, Ayamyam in the Hebrew, meaning terrors, ancient inhabitants of Moab. Okay. So yeah, it's just straightforward, nothing else there. Terror, dread. Okay, and the Anakims. All right, Anakim, long-necked, a tribe of giants, descendants of Anak, which dwelled in southern Canaan. When it says giants, it's just talking about super tall people. Okay, doesn't mean they were 35 foot tall. They had a son 23 feet tall and stuff like that. Okay, making Shaq look like a baby and stuff. No, yeah, Anakia, an Anakite or descendant of Anak or Anakim. Okay, which they all go back to the Hamites. It says the Emims dwelt therein in times past, a people great and many, and tall as the Anakims, which also were accounted giants as the Anakims, but the Moabites call the Emims. And let's get the word giants real quick. Rapayim, giants. Rephaim, all right? Old tribal giants, okay? So yeah, as a matter of fact, Rapayim, see what this is. Okay, so that's something else. And we probably won't even get anything. Probably get some bugged out stuff when we pull this up. Let's see, I figure. Somewhat, all right, in Hebrew, Rephites or Rephaim describes an ancient race of giants in Canaan from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age. Many locations were also named after them. According to Genesis 14:5, King Chedorlaomer and his allies attacked and defeated the Rephites at Ashtaroth Karnaim. Okay, so yeah, it's just talking about super tall guys, man. Like, what's his name? Goliath. He was like 13 and a half feet tall, something like that. Okay, well, he wasn't, 28 feet. Okay, he wasn't 30, 40 feet, like they do in these fairy tales, Jack and the Beanstalk, crazy stuff like that. No, they were super tall people, but not like, what people would think today when they hear giant. All right, they think about some, super tall being, all right, with footprints as big as a house, um, which also were accounted giants as the Anakims. Okay, but the Moabites called them Emims. All right, the Horims also dwelt in Seir before time, which we talked about them before. All right, Horims. All right, Haryah in Hebrew. Let's get the wrong one. All right, Horite mean cave dweller, the inhabitants of Mount Seir. All right, the inhabitants of Edom in later times. All right. So yeah, before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them. All right, as we talked about already, they took over the area that they were living in. When they had destroyed them from before them, which it tells you there was by war. All right, they took them to battle and dwelt in their stead, all right, in their place, as Israel did unto the land of his possession, which the Lord Yahweh gave unto them. Yeah, as we talked about with Joshua, okay, or under Joshua, I should say. All right, we took our lands that was promised to us by war. All right, the lands of Canaan. Okay, we took that by war. It wasn't that we just walked in there. I think we mentioned that in the first chapter, where it says houses that ye built not, and so on and so forth. Because we went and took those. Well, some of those places we burned down. All right, but I mean, as far as places that weren't burned down, you had buildings and things that were still there. Okay, you have lands like farmlands. I mean, because these are still regular people, so they lived the regular way. So you have farmland and things of that nature that we already had to, or not already have, that we were able to take over and just use. Okay, that we didn't have to, plow for ourselves for the first time or build up or whatever the case may be. All right, we just took what they had because it was promised to us by the Lord. All right, verse 13 says, "Now rise up," said I, "and get you over the brook Zered or Zered, and we went over the brook Zered." Let's see if we can find out what that is. Ozier Brook, a river east of the Jordan in the region of Moab and Edom, a source of the Arnon River. All right, so we get an idea with it. Let me get it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hopefully we get something. I see R on one of those maps there. Okay, I see the Arnon River. All right, so let's grab. I'm gonna zoom out on this one. Let's grab that one. So you see the Arnon River right there. And that's the Dead Sea. Because you keep going north, and you eventually get to that Jordan River there. So around this general location, there's R again. Arrowhead, that's a familiar name. Okay. And these maps are not always pinpoint accurate. A lot of times they are. Well, not, I won't say a lot of times. Sometimes they are. And sometimes they'll put like a question mark because they don't really know. They assume. It's that general area there. Let's go back. So it's a red, which we didn't find it. I don't think we did find that. So yeah, I believe that's that same. Okay, so you see right there. And there's that brook. What was it, Arnon? They said it was. That goes to the Dead Sea. So possible location there. Not sure. I just like to look into these maps sometimes for myself. So now rise up, said I, and get you over the brook Zered. And we went over the brook Zered, and the space which you can see, brook would be a body of water. All right. Let me see if I can get this. Nahal, or actually Nahal in the Hebrew. Torrent Valley, Wadi, Torrent Valley, Torrent. Um, Look at stream bed. Okay. Look, brook, flood, river. So it's like a tiny river. Okay. Because rivers can be different sizes, but a brook is more of a smaller size usually. So yeah. All right. It says in the space in which we came from Kadesh Barnea until we were come over the brook Zered was 38 years. All right, 38 years. Okay, so all that traveling, and now it's the 38th year. Okay, until all the generation of the men of war were wasted out from among the hosts, as Yahweh swore unto them. All right, yeah, that was he said that promise. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure we can cross reference where that was said or not. Um, I mean, there's one from Deuteronomy 1:34. And Yahweh heard the voice of your words and was wroth and swore, saying, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land which I swear to give unto your fathers. There you go. All right. So he's just talking about right there. All right. The men of war died off. All right. For indeed, verse 15, for indeed the hand of Yahweh was against them to destroy them from among the hosts until they were consumed. See? So they died off. If I'm reading this right, they died off our battle. All right. For indeed the hand of Yahweh was against them to destroy them from among the host until they were consumed. Or maybe not, because it doesn't really say battle in particular. It just says from among the host, okay, until they were consumed. But either way, they died off, all right? So it came to pass when all the men of war were consumed and dead from among the people, all right, that older generations, as we're reading right here, starting with those men of war, right, that Yahweh spake unto me, saying, thou art to pass over through Ar, which we already saw Ar on the map, okay, Moab's land, Ar, the coast of Moab this day, okay, and when thou comest nigh over against the children of Ammon, distress them not, nor meddle with them, for I will not give thee of the land of the children of Ammon, excuse me, any possession, because I have given it unto the children of Lot for a possession. All right. So yeah, so the Lord was looking after the children of Lot. All right, in a sense, because Lot was one of he was Abraham's nephew by, I think it was the brother that died. All right, it was Abraham. What was Nahor and Haran? I think Haran was the one that died. Okay, which there's an actual land named Haran, which I believe that's where their father died, in Haran. Okay, as they went up from out of Ur Chaldees, they stopped in Haran. Their father died there, and Abraham was told to continue on. Okay, going to that Genesis chapter, dealing with that. But yeah, I think it was Haran, the brother that died, and I believe Lot was the son of Haran, and then pretty much he joined to Abraham. All right, and then as we mentioned before, you get into that history of Sodom and Gomorrah and those neighboring cities. Okay, so yeah, if I'm correct, that was the son and father situation there. Okay, so when you go, as we talked about that history there with Lot's children, his two daughters, where Moab and Ammon come from, the Chinese and Japanese. All right, so in a sense, he's saying that, hey, this land is theirs. Really, really stemming from Lot because of who Lot was. All right, but anyways, it says that also was accounted a land of giants. Uh, yeah, giants dwelt therein in the old time, and the Ammonites called them Zamzamims. All right, so there's a lot of tall individuals lurking around the land of Canaan, or not exactly that land of Canaan because they're still in the area like Moab, but around this time in that general location, you know, especially like on the I say on the west of the Jordan. All right, you run into giants, man. Uh, Zamzamyam in Hebrew, plotters, the Ammonite name for the people who by others were called Rephaim, and were described as a numerous nation of giants, perhaps the same as Zuzim. Okay, And it says a numerous nation of giants. All right, so there's a lot of them. The Zamzams, they call them. All right, a people great and many and tall as the Anakims. You see, notice why notice it keeps mentioning the Anakims, because they were known to be very tall individuals. All right, so when it's talking about somebody with that exceptional height. All right, it's likening them to those Anakims because they were known to be very tall individuals. So it's just to, it's to kind of like put emphasis on the height of these people. Okay, a people great and many and tall as the Anakims, but Yahweh destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead. All right, and the key thing here says Yahweh destroyed them. See, because it's the Lord, all right, that fights these battles. I'm not saying the Lord actually comes down, okay, in His own chariot or on the battle on the foot or whatever. No, but it's the spirit and power of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Shai, that controls all things. So if the Lord tells you, as we talked about last time, if the Lord tells you don't go into a battle, you best not go. But if He tells you to go, I've given them into your hand. Hey, you in there, all right? You going to succeed, okay? So verse 22. All right, it says, as he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir. All right, now, if I'm correct, there's more history on this, but it's just not in this chapter. It's kind of consolidated because, you still have the book of Leviticus and Numbers. All right, um, I mean, I guess you could also mention Exodus. Um, yeah, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and then eventually you get to Deuteronomy. All right, the last of the five, books. Okay, so yeah. So there's other back history here that you can get through other chapters. But anyways, as he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, when he destroyed the Horims from before them, and they succeeded them, and dwelt in their stead even to this day. And what I was referring to was like the battle of the it's talking about Esau here. So let me make clear what I was talking about. Speaking about the Amalekites. All right. Yeah. So because I think there was I forget what chapter it's in where we tried to go through their land, and they was like, no, you can't go through our land. Pretty much, and they was like, man, we're gonna pay for whatever. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Anything we eat or drink, we'll pay for. We just want to go through, and it was like, nah, man, you come through here, we going to war, okay? And then there's the battle that we had where Moses held up the staff and we won. Just consolidating a little history there. But let's get back into it. It says, as he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, when he destroyed the Horims from before them. As we talked about, Esau took over the Horim's land. All right. It says, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead even to this day. And the Avims, which dwelt in Hazarim, even unto Azah, and Caphtorims, which came forth out of Caphtor, destroyed them and dwelt in their stead. All right. So just talking about different battles of different people taking over different lands. All right, rise ye up, take your journey, and pass over the river Arnon. There's Arnon River again. Behold, all right, I have given into thine hand Sihon the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and his land begin to possess it. In his land, begin to possess it and contend with him in battle. And we could probably cross-reference something about that. Maybe not. I see Judges 11. See, that's more of the same history here. See, Arnon is the border of Moab between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it says in the book of the wars of Yahweh, what he did in the Red Sea and in the brooks of Arnon, and at the stream of the brooks that go down to the dwelling of Ar, and lieth upon the border of Moab. Judges 11 and 18. Then they went along through the wilderness to pass the land of Edom and the land of Moab, and came to the east. Came by the east side of the land of Moab, and pitched on the other side of Arnon, but came not within the border of Moab, for Arnon was the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Israel said unto him, let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land into my place. But Sihon trusted not Israel to pass through his coast. But Sihon gathered all his people together and pitched in Jahaz and fought against Israel. And Yahweh power of Israel delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. All right, so there you go. That's that history there, which I'm pretty sure there's more to it. But that was a consolidated history of Sihon. Okay, taking him down. Sihon the Amorite, king of Heshbon. Okay, let's see if we can find where Heshbon is. All right, Hashbawan. Hashbawan. Stronghold means the capital city of Sihon. Excuse me. King of the Amorites, located on the western border of the high plain and on the border line between the tribes of Reuben and Gad. All right, Hashbawan. Account, reasoning, reckon. Right, so let's go back and see if we can see what map Heshbon. Hashbawan. Okay. I think I know what the general area we are. Because I see Beth Baal Meon, Kiriathaim. So that's a little bit north of Moab. What is this? Is this showing us? No. I don't think, unless I'm overlooking it. Okay, I think I see Heshbon. The map won't clear it for us. Salaki, if you wear glasses, because I know what it feels like. Keep blurry. Hey, you get blurry. When you're looking at blurry stuff, oh my goodness, my eyes. My eyes. Yeah, King of Sihon, Heshbon. There you go. I'm sorry, Kingdom. Sihon. All right. And I think we just mentioned Jazer. Oh, no, it was Jahaz. Jahaz. Okay. So, and there's Heshbon. You know, supposedly that's Heshbon. All right. And there's R again. There's the Arnon emptying out to the Dead Sea. So it says go up over Arnon, the brook Arnon. All right. So we had to cross somewhere here because there's another river to the west, and then it parts in two ways to the east. And I'm pretty sure we only crossed one, so we had to part somewhere. I mean, cross somewhere in between. And also it's on the border right there, so beautiful. So I'm glad we pulled this map up because it talks about the border of Moab, right? Arnon River crossing over here, all right, and then it speaks about Heshbon, and you see Ammon over there to the right of the screen. There's Amorites linking off the top. So you just kind of get a general, idea. Okay. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right, so all right, so let's go back. So we're picking up at verse 24. Is it 24? I think it's 24. Yeah, rise ye up, take your journey and pass over the river Arnon. Behold, I have given to thy hand Sihon the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to possess it and contend with him in battle. This day will I begin to put the dread of thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven, who shall hear report of thee, all right, and shall tremble and be in anguish because of thee. And see, and that's the doing of the Lord. I think there's a scripture in it might be somewhere here in Deuteronomy where it says as a matter of fact, maybe Deuteronomy 28, where it says I don't think it's there. Is it there? Talk about your enemies fleeing from you 7 ways. There's another scripture I believe it says, oh, here it is right here. One of you shall chase 1,000, something like that. But yeah, Yahweh, Deuteronomy 28:7, Yahweh shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee 1 way and flee before thee 7 ways. All right, there you go. So he says what? All right, that I will begin to put the dread of thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven, who shall hear report of thee, hear about your battle reports, and shall tremble and be in anguish because of thee. And on top of that, they were like, oh, they took down some giants, man. Okay, did you hear how they did it? That's scary. Right, the Israelites are coming. Okay, look, link in the Numbers 21. Okay, more of that history there. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through the land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border, but Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel, and Israel smote him with the edge of the sword. and possessed this land from Arnon to Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon. For the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. And speaking of these giants, I believe there's one king that they mentioned how big his bed was, how tall and how wide it was. And that dude was huge, man. Okay. Wherefore they that speak in Proverbs say, come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. All right. So let's go back here. So Deuteronomy 2 and 26. And I sent messengers out of the wilderness of Kedemoth unto Sihon, king of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, let me pass through thy land. I will go along by the highway. I will neither turn unto the right hand nor to the left. Yeah, you have the king's highway, one of those main travel roads, mainly for the king. Okay, where they will go before and move debris and things out of the way, make sure a clear path. All right, make sure ain't no robbers and stuff like that. Make a clear path for the king. What are we looking at? Quadamwat, I guess. It says eastern. One of the towns in the district east of the Dead Sea, allotted to the tribe of Reuben, and given to the Merarites, Levites. All right, so, and if you saw that map that we looked at before, it actually showed the tribes. Let me see here. Okay. All right, Kedemoth. Yep, because right there. All right. I believe. Oh, shoot. I want the one with the tribes on it. Okay, here's one. So there you go. You see Moab, Arnon River. All right, and then now you don't see anything about what's his name? Sihon, right? It says Reuben. North of that, it's Gad. North of that is East Manasseh, because Manasseh had land on both east and west of the Jordan River. And those three tribes, Gad, Reuben, and East Manasseh, were the only ones with land on the east, which there was a situation with that, where they built the altar, and it wasn't to blaspheme and like do their own thing or whatever. They were saying that, no, in generations to come, all right, your children might not know my children, and then they'll say that we don't got right to worship here and all this kind of stuff. So we just, this is a memorial and letting know that, hey, it be known that, hey, we are children of Israel too. We were delivered the same way. All right, our history is the same history. Just because our land is on the east of the Jordan, across from everyone else. Hold on. All right, it doesn't mean that we're not the same people. That we don't have rights to the true altar and things of that nature. All right, so there you go. Beautiful. So it says, and I sent messengers out of the wilderness of Kedemoth unto Sihon, king of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, let me pass through thy land. I will go along by the highway. I will neither turn unto the right hand nor to the left. Thou shalt sell me meat for money, that I may eat, and give me water for money, that I may drink. Only I will pass through on my feet. And there's a lot of us, so they would have made a lot of money. Okay, but anyways, as the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and the Moabites, which dwell in Ar, did unto me, until I shall pass over Jordan into the land which Yahweh our power giveth us. Okay, but Sihon, king of Heshbon, would not let us pass by him. So as we had a clear pass, all right, from these two right here, all right, gets to Sihon. It says, but Sihon, king of Heshbon, would not let us pass by him. For Yahweh thy power hardened his spirit, and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver into thy hand, as appeared this day. Let's get the word obstinate. Amatazah. To be strong, alert, courageous, brave, stout, bold, solid, hard. All right. So he was headstrong. Like, yeah, we about to get it. Let's do this thing. Okay. I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. I want to see how these two verses read in 29 and 30. NLT. The descendants of Esau who live in Seir allowed us to go through their country, and so did the Moabites who live in Ar. Let us pass through until we cross the Jordan into the land into the land Yahweh our power is giving us. But King Sihon and Heshbon refused to allow us to pass through, because Yahweh your power made Sihon stubborn and defiant, so he could help you defeat him as he has now done. All right. So yeah, I'll go back to this one. All right. So verse 31 says, "And Yahweh said unto me, Behold, I have begun to give Sihon and his land before thee." Begin to, yeah, see, by pretty much he hardened his heart to go to battle against you. All right. It says he hardened his spirit. Let's get the word for harden. Quashah, to be hard, be severe, be fierce, be harsh. Will be difficult, to be ill treated, to show stubbornness, right? Make a stiff neck. There you go. So he hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into thy hand, as appeared this day. And so when he did that, that was the beginning of what he said here. And Yahweh said unto me, Behold, I have begun to give Sihon and his land before thee. Begin to possess that thou mayest inherit his land. Then Sihon came out against us, he and all his people, to fight at Jahaz, as we saw on the map. All right. And Yahweh our power delivered him before us, and we smote him and his sons and all his people. And these are real places on the planet, man. All right. These people over here in the East, they act like these things aren't real because, the Bible is our history. So they don't care about our history. It's like we talk about, they got these, what they call them. I forget the name of them, but these like little, um, like stones or whatever, and have some king's history. Or he defeated this king in that land and this king and so on and so forth. And they might have the Israelites up there, but they won't. Or like who was it that was it Hezekiah or Zedekiah? I can't remember which one it is right now. But where they rerouted the waters, okay, and I believe that's that same account, if I'm correct, where the angel killed the 185,000 Syrians. And so in his records, he says that, I think he says that Hezekiah, locked up in the city like a caged bird, this and that. Made it sound all fantastical. So I just left the battle. I did all this conquering, but Hezekiah's hiding and he's locked up in the city. And so I just left. Like, I ain't gonna try to take the strong, like, come on, man. But the real history is in the Bible, where the angel, jacked up his men that night. All right. And so he turned back and left because he knew what the deal was. All right. And that was one angel. Okay. So yeah, so they give you their history just like Esau today, man. He's giving you history the way he wants to tell it because he's in power right now. All right. But the Bible gives you the true history. All right. It doesn't matter. All right. Because I often mention that, with these, rulers and stuff like that, they'll mention all their exploits and stuff like that. But, a time when they lost the battle, they're not going to much mention that unless it is later on like, yeah, we we might have lost this battle, but then we came back strong. We overcame all that, because it's all to make them sound good. Okay. But with us, hey, the Lord gives you the victories and he also gives you the defeats, all right? And balances out, okay? The Lord gives you, all the history there, okay? It doesn't matter if he lost a battle or won a battle. He gives you all the history versus these heathens where they like to tell about all the exploits, all their wins in the battle. They don't like to talk about their losses, okay? So it says, Yahweh, our power, delivered him before us, and we smote him and his sons and all his people. And we took all his cities at that time and utterly destroyed the men and the women and the little ones. Okay, hold on. But I thought Lord loves everybody. And we took all his cities at that time and utterly destroyed the men and the women and the little ones, which is obviously children, even down to babies, I'm pretty sure, of every city. We left none to remain, completely wiped out Sihon and his inhabitants, right? Only the cattle we took for a prey unto ourselves, and the spoil of the cities which we took. Yeah, because ultimately, you could use the cattle for the land, use the cattle for food, and then you have to give sacrifices, all right? So you can use the cattle for all those different things. So these animals we're gonna keep, all right, because we can make use of these things, all right. But as for your people, which the men died in war, and then we went on to take the children and also the women, the children, okay, only took the cattle, all right, because the Lord is a man of war. That's his orders. At the bottom of the chapter, verse 36. Right, it says, from Arrowware, which is by the brink of the river, of Arnon, and from the city, and we saw Arnon right on the borders, okay, north of Moab, all right, south of what was Sihon's land, all right. So from Aroer, which is by the brink of the river Arnon, and from the city that is by the river, even to Gilead, there was not one city too strong for us. Yahweh our power delivered all. Yahweh delivered all unto us, which we read up above. All right. When the Lord tells you not to go into a battle, sit down somewhere. Right? But if He tells you to go, hey, just go, because you're gonna win. All right. And it's confidence in the Lord. Okay, because the Lord controls these things. Um, yeah, it says. I think the scripture says that. No, actually, that's another one. It's that was something else. So I'm not even gonna mention that scripture. It says there was not one city too strong for us. Yahweh our power delivered all unto us. Last verse 37. Only unto the land of the children of Ammon thou camest not. All right, nor unto any place of the river Jabbok, nor unto the cities and the mountains, nor unto whatsoever Yahweh our power forbade us. All right, so where He told us not to go, we better not go there and try to take anything. All right, only take and go where He told us to go. Just like with the Moabs, not to take any. No, don't go to war with Moab. All right, because of Lot. Okay, the children of Lot. All right, Ammon, which is another one of the children of Lot. So as I said, don't go to those lands. I want you to go here. Okay, and there you go. We met up with Sihon. The Lord hardened Sihon's heart. All right, and they gave him the business, took his land. So yeah, that's the end of Deuteronomy chapter 2. So Lord, whether you edify the next time, I'm going to say shalom.